It is time to check in with Dr. Joe Schwarz, host of the Dr. Joe Show, Sundays at 3 here on CJAD. And of course, he's also director of the McGill Office for Science and Society. And Joe, I like that today your note says you want to talk about the seductive videos, numerous ones that circulate online, and they tout all sorts of miracle cures. I know I've asked you about a couple of these before. Whether it's a miracle cure or a miracle food doesn't really seem to matter. But the one you want to talk about, and I don't know anything about this one, is called Memo Surge. So what's this about?
Right. Well, this video is one of hundreds on the internet, and they all follow the same formula. They start with some heart-wrenching story about an unfortunate person who's been struck by some dreadful disease for which there's no cure because callous big pharma is more interested in selling expensive but ineffective treatments, so their profits keep rolling in, and those profits would stop if there were a cure. And then to the rescue comes a distraught family member who dedicates himself to finding a cure and searches through the scientific literature and discovers something that Big Pharma doesn't want you to know.
Amazing.
And then comes the slickly made video, and it promises to reveal the secret that has left doctors shaking their heads in disbelief upon seeing their incurable patient being cured, right? And they tell you that the secret is going to be revealed in 3 minutes. But that doesn't happen. The viewer, me, who I just spent 45 minutes on this, is enticed by references to studies and name-dropping of researchers at leading universities. And, you have to sit through all of this seductive blather about how thousands of patients have already had their health restored thanks to this good Samaritan having discovered the secret that world's experts have missed, except for one gallant scientist who put him on the right track. Now, in this case, that gallant scientist is a guy called Dr. John Wend, who Google fails to locate.
Uh-oh.
And, that's really very interesting these days. I mean, there are a lot of John Wends out there, but none of them fit this category of having done research in memory. Anyway, so I said many videos follow this formula. The only difference is that at the end, they end up recommending a different supplement. And in this case, it is Memo Surge, guaranteed to reverse memory loss. And this time, the heart-wrenching story is about a grandmother who forgets that her child is out in the freezing cold and almost dies. And then her husband, the hero of the story, takes out a line of credit, sells some property so he can quit his job, devote himself to finding a cure so he doesn't end up, so his wife doesn't end up in a confused state in some nursing home, which may be the destiny of many who are watching the video, so he says. And then comes the cutting-edge, groundbreaking work of this scientist, Dr. John Wend, who I cannot find. And it's all about wondrous chemicals that can reverse brain aging and restore lost memories. And when you finally get to the end of this interminable video, they do reveal what this supplement is, and it's a mixture of phosphatidylserine, St. John's wort, acetylcarnitine, and bacca-monieri.
Of course,
now, all of which have been subject of memory research, none of which is secret, and none of which is compelling. The references that they talk about, that they provide, do not say what they claim that they say. And there are no studies on the combination of these ingredients in Memo Surge. And I think it is totally dishonest to promote a product that claims to have such stunning benefits without any evidence. Now, when you get near the end of the video, we're told that we must make this purchase very quickly because they don't know for how long they can make it available at this low price. Because if you bought all these ingredients separately, it would be hundreds of dollars. But this benevolent company, which is only interested in saving people from the inevitable downward spiral, well, they've managed to produce this pill with these magical ingredients at a fraction of the price.
Wow.
But you have to hurry because you don't know how long this video will be there because there are all kinds of conspirators who want to
someone may find out what
down.
they're trying to do, yeah.
Absolutely. So anyway, there are no studies on this particular product, and this is why it's dishonest. If there were a significant breakthrough in preventing age-related loss of brain function, such as Alzheimer's, which the video does not name, but clearly the description that they provide of this unfortunate lady, who is probably mythical, as being the cause of her problems, I mean, that smacks of Alzheimer's. And if there were some kind of breakthrough, we would not hear about it in this fashion from this video on the internet. It would be documented with appropriate evidence from clinical trials, and we'd read about it in Nature, in Science, or in the New England Journal of Medicine. But these videos are a dime a dozen. There are so many of them out there, and it's always the same formula. You have this sort of compelling story of someone who was knocked down by some disease but can get up again because someone has found the secret that has eluded the leading researchers in the world.
Yeah. And you know what, as I hear you, it's so funny, as I hear you describe this, you're right. There are so many of these, and you have to go through them. You got to scroll all the way through, and then there's the video. Maybe the advice here, Joe, is at the end of it all, right? If they're trying to sell you something, right, and they tell you better hurry and buy it now, as you just sort of detailed, maybe just that's the time just to walk away and move on, because this is the same pitch shill you're going to get from everyone trying to do the same thing.
You have to sit through about 45 to 60 minutes before you get to see what it is that they're selling. Because it's very cleverly done, these videos, At first, it sounds kind of scientific, and they're not talking about selling anything. They're just giving you a background story of someone who was cured of a disease. But it's like a formula. The only thing that changes is whatever it is that they are trying to promote. So I'm sure that, there's several companies who make these. And, they've got this down pat, and they have the voiceover down pat, and, it does sound very seductive.
By the way, to mention all those ingredients that you said were in this thing, right? None of them alone are bad for you, I'm guessing, right?
No. I think, one can rest assured that these people don't want to get sued. So they're pretty careful about what they put in there. But they're just not careful about the claims that they make. Although they're veiled, the claims are veiled. Like I said, they never out and out mention Alzheimer's disease. But certainly the description that they provide is exactly that. So the message is that they have found the secret formula to Alzheimer's, which, of course, doesn't exist.
Maybe the takeaway here was that guy you mentioned, the doctor who's first quoted, you can't even find him on Google. Maybe that's when it's time to leave the page. So, all right. Dr. Joe, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Aaron.